Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, August 10th. Your government taco forecast today in Baton Rouge. Expect to see sunny skies with a high of 86. Follow Government Taco on Instagram at GOVT Taco for monthly and daily specials. Coming up on OTB, Brody Miller of The Athletic joins the show at 7:30 to talk college football, and we have a new edition of Would You Rather Wednesday at 8:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in to OTB here on this Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. T-Bob, Mario, and Taylor hanging out with you today. Jake will be here in 1 hour as he's doing some good fathering. First day of school today, sending the youngest off to school. So we wish him and his boy, one of the four, nothing but the best as they start school today. I'm not going to lie, you know me, I'm pretty jealous of all of these schools that are starting today and all the parents whose very long summers of finding multiple ways to entertain the kids every single day, 24/7, is coming to an end, as I still think we're like a month out. But that's okay. We're not complaining today. We're staying positive on this Wednesday because we got a lot of positive news to get to, not the least of which, it is Bluey Day. That's right, dude. Season 3 of Bluey drops on Disney Plus today. So for all the other dads out there, moms out there, let's go. Some great adult-child viewing. Coming up this hour on OTB, we're going to obviously talk LSU and Saints camps. Those are the news of the day. And we'll have on Brody Miller at 7:30, my former podcast partner in crime. And we will wish farewell to what was a great podcast. And that is the Hold That podcast. Podcast, as Brody said on Twitter yesterday, that is coming to an end. Something that me and Brody did for years together. And then him and Chris Branch did for a couple of years. It was fantastic throughout. To start the show here, I want to dive in to LSU camp and kind of take a bird's eye view on what's going on right now with this LSU program, what it means for Brian Kelly, and how it pertains to quarterback. But first, see how the boys are feeling. Mario, how you feeling? Feeling well?
Feeling good, man. Made it to Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Glad you good. Yes, you made it to Wednesday. You did not die on Monday or Tuesday, which is the ideal. That is the goal. Congratulations to you. Taylor, how are you feeling?
Well, you know, our video stuff's working, so it's already off to a better start than yesterday.
That's right. That's right. There we go, dude. All we're trying to do, just like all of these players in camp, is just get better every single day. And when you look at this LSU football program, and, you know, what got me thinking about this and what kind of kicked off what you're about to hear was something very simple. And it is the fact that that coaches poll came out yesterday, and LSU was not ranked for the first time since 2000. Now, look, there's a separate conversation to be had about maybe that's a good thing and underdog status and all of these things, and those are very real, and I think I tend to agree, right? It's a lot of times easier to deal with no expectations than it is to deal with the burden of expectation. But before that's a very real and tangible conversation in a lot of ways. I want to talk about something a bit more symbolic. And then I think it's very appropriate that LSU is not ranked for the first time since 2000, since they are basically hitting reset, their first full program reset since the year 2000. Remember, that's when Nick Saban showed up on the heels of 2 non-winning seasons. I think it's how Rabs put it today. Basically means one of the seasons was 500, right? But 2 non-winning seasons. Nick Saban shows up in 2000, and he changes everything. Much of what and who he instilled lasted the test of time. In fact, lasting over 2 decades. He kicked off a golden age of LSU football. And now, finally, that golden age comes to an end and a new era begins, this time with Brian Kelly. Now, the wild part about all of this to me is that this kind of full program reset of LSU, this beginning of a new era, perfectly times up with a new era of college football in general. And I think there's kind of a fascinating inversion here, right? Where as LSU looks to reinvent itself as something more stable, maybe a bit less chaotic, college football has done the opposite. College football has chosen to eschew stability in favor of chaos. And so unlike Dabo Swinney, who we see out there talking about, I don't like the transfer portal, I don't like NIL, unlike Dabo Swinney, who absolutely runs the risk of being left behind, and only time will tell, Brian Kelly has embraced this new chaotic landscape in order to achieve the stability that he desires, right? So embrace the chaos, and through that chaos, you may find the consistency that you're searching for. Added 16 scholarship transfers this offseason. 16 of them. Think about that. Talk about a full program reset. And we know, look, it's not just on the field. You had 16 new scholarship transfers, many of whom are going to start. Most will contribute. The third best transfer class in the country, speaking of keeping up with the times and setting yourself up for success. 16 new transfers. Added an entire new coaching staff, save for one, in Brad Davis. Added new personnel throughout that football ops building. And now, out of all this new, again, they hope to begin the next era of LSU football. And right now, you know me, I love kind of historical analogs and metaphors. Right now, LSU football kind of reminds me of horse archers on the Asian steppes, right? Think like your Mongols, your Huns, whoever the case may be. These warring clans made up of the best soldiers. What do we always talk about? LSU always has the talent, right? Even last year, year went to go 6-7. They have 10 players drafted. Unbelievable. So they always have the talent. The same way that horse archers, really until the proliferation of guns, were the premier battlefield soldier. From a just effectiveness standpoint, they moved so fast, they could disappear, they could feint. They were deadly accurate. They could hit you at range and speed, and ultimately range and speed determine who wins the battles. Very similar to football in that way. But a lot of times on these Asian steppes, right, you have these warring clans where there's always this infighting. And so they're never able to unite. They're never able to take over and take full advantage of the skill set that they have. However, every now and then, a warlord emerges, right? And that person unites the clans, and he quite literally takes over and changes the world. Look at Genghis Khan and what he did, basically shaped the modern world in many ways. Attila the Hun, right? A key in the fall of the Roman Empire. But eventually that ruler dies, and sometimes it takes longer than others, but the tribes descend back into chaos. And so when I look at Brian Kelly, he is not trying to just go on an epic raid, right? That's what you could almost look at the Ogeron era as, a flash in the pan. Have you ever heard of General Subadai's raid? I think it's the longest military expedition without supply lines. Go look it up. That's kind of what 2019 was. But then things descended back into chaos. Brian Kelly isn't just trying to go on an epic raid. He is trying to establish an empire that will stand the test of time. And the thing about that is an incredibly ambitious goal. And it's one that for most, I would say it's impossible, simply because the math isn't on your side. There can only be one winner out of all of the college football teams. There can only be one winner. There can only be 4 that make the playoffs. It's hard to get 2 out of the same conference. If you're not going to win your conference, how are you to get in? It's tough, right? The math is not on your side, but that's where Brian Kelly becomes exciting, becomes fascinating here, is that he would appear to have the experience and skill to actually make that possible. And as this new era begins, here in year number 1, one of the main issues that people are going to look at and talk about and contemplate, and one of the main issues that will determine how this year 1 goes, is who is going to win the quarterback position. Let's talk about quarterbacks real quick, because there are rumors swirling a bit here. Now, I want to be clear. I do not know the truth of these rumors. I have not been out to practice either for the media portion or as a player seen, the full practice. Even if I had been out as a player, I would not tell you anything that I saw outside of the media portion because, again, I am not a journalist. I'm just here to entertain and have conversation, right? And so because I'm not a journalist, I am not reporting this. I am merely speaking to some of the rulers swirling in the ether. And that is that right now, people are intimating that this thing may be down to a two-man race. It may be down to Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier. If this is true, it's a massive, brutal blow for Miles Brennan. I mean, here's someone who comes back for another year, could have gone elsewhere, and won a job relatively easily at a lot of other schools, be it a big school or small school. And now, who knows if he'll find the field. A bad break for someone who probably has the most impressive 3-game sample size of all time, of any QB ever, maybe to never get to play again. Now, I want to be painfully clear, right? We're dealing in hypotheticals here. I don't know at all that this is true. Camp can change on the turn of the heel, right? It can change overnight. It can change on a single play with an injury, or it can change over a matter of days with somebody just starting to practice very well. Something clicks, and all of a sudden they emerge. So nothing we're saying here is fine. But if it is down to Daniels and Nussmeier, I think that does tell us a few interesting things. First, in the Jaden Daniels portion of it, maybe Daniels has more left in the tank. Right? Perhaps he has the ability to get back to being that freshman that kind of took the Pac-12 by storm, where he put up this amazing 17-2 touchdown interception ratio, had some big wins, threw for nearly 3,000 yards. Like, he looked like somebody that was going to ascend and be great and be one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. He looked like someone who could be a potential Heisman candidate. Now, we have learned, and that never happened. In fact, he regressed year by year. In the interim, though, we have learned more and more just maybe how broken that ASU program has become. And, here in this show recently, we had the quarterback tier list we broke down from The Athletic. We talked a lot about the idea of nature versus nurture from the quarterback perspective. How much of a quarterback's and a team's success is due to that man's pure talent, and how much of it is due to the environment that he finds himself in. And I don't know that we always give environment its just due. And you have to wonder how many guys have been ruined by being in terrible environments and how many guys have been elevated by being in stable ones. And when you look at Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly, they have proven to be able to elevate their quarterback play. So there is an idea out there, and it makes a lot of sense to me, that perhaps in a more stable environment, with guys who have done this before, maybe Jaden Daniels gets to become the player that he looked like he was once going to be, and that becomes incredibly exciting because, again, he once looked like he was going to be one of the best in the country. Now, if we look at the Garrett Nussmeier portion of this, I find it very interesting, but for different reasons. Because the thing is, we don't really know the potential of Garrett Nussmeier. Yes, we saw him start a game last year. We saw a small sample size last year, but interestingly, he was not as good as Miles was in that sample size. And so if he is really emerging in the way that he may be right now, and if he is at the head of this race or battling for the head of this race, well, that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? Because if he were to become QB1, then you're talking about beating out a fourth-year senior in Jaden Daniels, who, as we said, has started 30 games, has all the experience in the world, and is not going to be fazed by the big moment. And it also means beating out a sixth-year senior who has been around the program for nearly a quarter of Garrett Nussmeier's life. Think about that. And so if he were to enter that room and emerge, then again, that speaks for itself in terms of a quarterback with a very high ceiling who remains a bit of a relative unknown. Now, look, I want to be painfully clear about this, though. We have to let this competition play out, okay? It is not decided right now. However, we are going to get answers sooner rather than later. LSU's been pretty consistent on this. Now, I don't know if they go public with these answers, right? I don't know what kind of games they want to play. I don't know if they want to kind of do it like Les Miles did, where you would literally hide the starter until game day. But even in the Miles era, when he was engaging in those tactics, the team knew who the guy was going to be. And because you have to know, right? And so within the next week, I believe today marks a full week of LSU football camp. When we get to next Wednesday, I think that they will have a clear idea of who the guy is going to be. So if you are Nussmeier, Daniels, Brennan, it all comes down to this. It is quite literally nut cutting time, which interestingly has nothing to do. It is not a testicular reference. We looked it up. It's about when you have a nut and a bolt and the nut is rusted on there or stuck on there. And so it's nut cutting time. Like you have no option. It's time to do it. You have to do it. You're down to your last chance, your last option. Well, it's the last option right now for these quarterbacks. You got a week to try to assert yourself and win this job because reps are precious, reps are dwindling, and the opening day is quickly approaching. Fascinating parallels between the year 2000 when Nick Saban showed up and Brian Kelly now as he tries to start the LSU Golden Era Part 2. And year one, well, not the end-all be-all, is crucial for setting the tone. And who will be that leader here in year one? Will it be Daniels? Will it be Brennan? Will it be Nussmeier? We will know much more in a week. What do you think? What have your Tiger droppings threads been saying? Get in the 104.5 ESPN YouTube chat. Let me know. It's youtube.com/1045 ESPN. Hit the like button, okay? When we get back, we're going to touch on Saints camp very quickly. Then we're going to go to the phone lines as we talk to Brody Miller about what he is hearing out of this LSU camp, as well as what is next for him on the podcasting front. So keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to centralplumbing.org. Centralplumbing.org, 925-8552 is the number, y'all. 925-8552. I love Central Plumbing. Okay, they've been making sure the community's plumbing needs are taken care of for 50 years, y'all. I guarantee you do not do as much damage to your bathroom as I do. And that's why probably 4 or 5 times now through the years I've had Central Plumbing out there, and I love it, man. I love the not having to think twice, right? Just knowing I'm going to pick up my phone, 925-8552. I'm going to get flat rate pricing. I'm going to know I can trust who's coming out of my home. BIOS in ahead of time. License bond insured. Great warranty once the work is done. I know they're going to know how to fix it quickly and efficiently because, again, I don't care if you got an old house, new house, if it's residential or commercial, they've seen it all. They can fix it all. Go to centralplumbing.org today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors. It's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints Camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday here again. T-Bob hanging out with you here solo for this first hour. My guy, Jake Hester, going to be in after he drops the kids off at school. I hope you're all having a wunderbar Wednesday today. I'm very excited for today. I'm going to watch Blue with my kids tonight. It's going to be great. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by some chat where some alternative definitions of nut cutting are being offered. And look, I'm not going to sit here and go to war over nut cutting. Nut cutting at the end of the day can mean whatever you want it to. The same way that Skoonch, my word, continues to thrive as there's indeed a Skoonch of fall in the air. Got to give credit to Zral, the tailgate master, who I think tweeted a couple of nights ago. You know, he's like, it's 75 degrees right now, nighttime. He has a beautiful picture of the sunset that he tweeted along with it. Said somewhere out there, fall is lurking. Football camps are going on, and that exactly is the case. And, well, LSU camp is going on. Saints camp is rolling right along, and some big news offered up yesterday as Marcus Davenport returns from the PUP. That's right. The PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, a list that was full of worry just a couple of weeks ago. Remember, we did an entire segment on it, how it seemed like with injuries in this New Orleans Saints team that time went on, but the song remained the same. Some of the same players that you are used to seeing on these lists over the last few years entered camp on them. The big three were Peyton Turner, Marcus Davenport, and Michael Thomas. Well, guess what? Now, 2 weeks into Saints camp, Peyton Turner, Michael Thomas, and Marcus Davenport are all off of the PUP list. So Davenport returned to practice yesterday. He just did individual. It'll be an acclimatization period, a ramp up. He's not going to play against the Texans, as he should not. But yeah, we're going to see maybe Marcus Davenport, if he can stay healthy, can he build off of what was an incredible 11-game sample size last year? I want to say it was 9 sacks, 3 or 4 forced fumbles last year in 11 games. If you extrapolate that into an entire season, that is the type of season that makes you a lot of money. That is the type of season that makes you Pro Bowls. And so now you know that Marcus Davenport is capable of being a Pro Bowl player. The question is, can he stay available? And that process will begin anew. Remember, 2 surgeries in the offseason, had his shoulder worked on, also had basically his entire pinky amputated. They're saying partial, but if you look at it, the bottom knuckle is really the only thing remaining. So we will. I'm excited for the potential of Davenport as well as Turner and Cam Jordan. Like, this could be a fearsome defensive line if they remain healthy. So that's good news on the injury front. Also, remember, Jameis Winston, just a little tweaked foot, and sometimes tweaked foot can be quite scary. Or are you just using vocab to try to hide a darker truth? But here's a quote from Dennis Allen yesterday. Quote, he's really day-to-day. I don't really think it's going to be that big of a challenge, but certainly we're going to make sure that we get it back healthy before putting it back out there. So not that big of a deal. Just not going to push him during camp when you know that he is the guy. Now, in Winston's absent yesterday, it seems like Andy Dalton and Ian Book were solid. You know Andy Dalton's going to be solid. But Book becomes a bit more interesting, right? Because Andy Dalton's story has already been written in the NFL. At this point in his career, he is there to be a backup. He is there to, if you need someone in an emergency pinch situation, again, you're not going to hit him with anything that's going to overwhelm him or make him too uncomfortable. But he doesn't have potential left. Ian Book does. And it sounds like the last couple of days, Ian Book's been flashing some improvement, going 9 of 12 yesterday. Trevor Penning is reportedly practicing very well as well. I know that he's garnered a lot of headlines for being very physical in the fights, and we love that, right? That attitude is a lot of the reasons why the New Orleans Saints drafted him. That attitude is a lot of what you have to have if you want to survive in the knockdown, drag-out world that are the trenches of the NFL. But that attitude is nothing if you can't play, if you don't have the technique, if you don't know who you're supposed to block. And it seems like the play of Penning is starting to speak for itself here, as he is really challenging Hurst for that starting left tackle role. And even if he does win that job, that's great, because Hurst represents one of the better swing tackles in the entire NFL. And if he doesn't win that job, that's okay, because Hurst represents one of the better swing tackles in the entire NFL. And Penning, at least if nothing else, you feel comfortable in saying that with what you've seen out of him so far, his potential remains very high. Last thing on practice yesterday, watch out. But if you haven't bet, now the odds are not great now because I think he's one of the top 4 favorites, but if you haven't bet yet on Mike Thomas being NFL Comeback Player of the Year, you might want to start paying attention, because bing bong, his targets are going up big time right now. Yesterday, 5 for 5. All 5 times quarterbacks went to him during 7-on-7 and team periods. All 5 times Mike Thomas came down with the ball. Now, he did not do one-on-ones, but this is Mike Thomas starting to look and feel like old Mike Thomas. This is Mike Thomas, a man who has always been said to have that sort of F-U, MJ sort of attitude and desire, where he can take anything and make it into a slight and use it as motivation. What happens when you give somebody that's already capable of being irrationally angry and irrationally motivated, what happens when you give him rational statements to be angry about and rational statements to push him? Mike Thomas is on the revenge warpath, and he is gaining massive momentum at New Orleans Saints training camp right now. So even with the Jameis absence, good news ahead of this weekend as the New Orleans Saints get prepared to play the Houston Texans coming up on Saturday night. Okay, coming up next here, let's talk to Brody Miller of The Athletic, one of, if not the best LSU man in the game right now. What has he heard about the quarterback position, about camp, and where does he think this all plays out? Plus, we'll say goodbye to our former podcast. So keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Donaldson Glass and Body, dgbauto.com, dgbauto.com. It's your one-stop car shop, man. Glass, tires, wheels, brakes, collision. It's all there for you. And the best body shop in the state. Be a simple oil change as well. I mean, if you just want to extend the life of your vehicle, you can take it in to DG&B for those regular checkups. And what I like about that situation is they're not going to cheat you, okay? They do great business. And the reason why is because their customers are consistently satisfied, so they become repeat customers. It's not one of those situations where you walk in and you feel immediately like you're on the back heel. You can almost sense the predators drooling, looking at you like you're some car ignorant prey, which I am. But at Donaldson Glass and Body, they get you back on the road with just what you need, okay? Affordably and safely. And so remember, if you do get in an accident, the insurance company cannot tell you where to go. The police cannot tell you who gets a tow. The answer to both is Donaldson Glass and Body.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Scona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints Camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Speaking of uniting the clans, right now let's go to the phone lines, or I guess now the Microsoft Teams lines, as we got our guy Brody Miller of The Athletic, and Brody Miller on Twitter, one of my favorite people. Brody, I'm going to do you a huge solid here. I know you have not showered yet this morning, but you look fantastic. And, well, I'm kind of getting, and this is a massive, massive compliment, I am getting Luke Evans vibes from you right now. And if you don't know who Luke Evans is, he's Gaston from the new live-action Beauty and Beast, right? He played Bard the Bowman in the Hobbit movies. He's a beautiful man. This mustache right now suits you very well. Taylor, can we get Brody on the screen here?
I appreciate that, buddy. Luke Evans, man, that's a compliment. I'll take it.
I know.
I'm really just on one long mission to be Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood. I think that's really just the goal at all times I'm working toward. But Luke Evans is a great compliment, buddy.
Daniel Day's gonna take a little more commitment, I would imagine, if you want to follow in those footsteps. So Brody, there's a lot to talk about. Let's get this out of the way first, though, as it was announced on Twitter yesterday that, something that was very near and dear to my heart for a long time. The Hold That podcast is coming to an end. I'll never forget a few years ago when me and you sat down at a specialty meat shop, and I propositioned you over some pepper jack boudin egg rolls to start an LSU podcast with me. And we did so. We came up with that stupid name there, which I always thought was very funny. Hold That podcast. And, eventually we had to split ways due to kind of, business stuff out of our control. And now I was replaced by Chris Branch. Y'all did an excellent job. But the Hold That podcast coming to an end, man. How do you feel?
It's a bummer, man. I mean, it's such a cool feeling to actually create something and then actually have a pretty solid following that was more than I think you and I even anticipated when we started it, and to have a bit of a little community. It's just kind of cool to create something, and then it's just kind of jarring to be at a point where you're like, wow, I can start something and see it end, so it's a bummer, man. And it's such a fun outlet every week just to talk about stuff. You and I had so much fun. I mean, we miss talking as much as we did then.
Yeah.
And just for listeners, I mean, I'll still be doing different podcasts across the Athletic Network. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still covering LSU football. I know that's been a common question, but the show is reaching its end. But thank you all for listening. If you did. If you didn't, you're dead to me. But.
Yeah, if you didn't, screw you, dude. Although you should have never listened when it was Brody and Chris Branch. I'm just kidding. Y'all did fantastic. Seems like y'all came up with a bunch of cool stuff, like 5 Minute Club, everything else out there. Whatever, though. Let's dive into LSU, Brody. So I kind of opened up with a overly pretentious and overly written opening segment about how it's kind of fascinating that this new era of college football begins. LSU's trying to trade in chaos for stability, but college football as a whole seems to have traded instability for chaos. And Brian Kelly's like, did you take advantage of said chaos to achieve these goals, right? And one of the main areas in which he did so was the transfer portal. One of the main gets was Jaden Daniels. And when you look at that LSU quarterback room, there are rumors swirling in terms of how that competition is going thus far. What are you hearing about who will potentially be under center for the LSU Tigers?
Yeah, and I think it's still a little too early to really know what's happening. I'm not going to pretend I think they've decided or anything like that. But yeah, I think, you hear a lot of different mixed things, because you hear some people say Garrett Nussmeier is clearly the guy who has the it factor. He's clearly the guy who, has some special things. But then you talk to a lot of people who think Kelly and Denbrock are going to value trust and, avoiding turnovers and things like that, which would make you think Miles Brennan. And then there's just a lot of things that make you wonder, hey, are they going to do they know the offensive line maybe is going to have its ups and downs, and maybe you want to get some dual threat in there in Jaden Daniels. I am genuinely not lying to you when I'd say I've probably heard versions of all three from people in the program. So I think at this point it's still, and I could find out I'm absolutely wrong, but it still feels pretty up in the air to me at this point, because I think you really could make a case for all of them, and I think you're going to.
Am I wrong, Brody? And I don't know, we might have dropped connection there. Let me know if we can get it back, because I want to see about the timing in all this. We still have Brody? Yes? Hello? Brody there? Okay, cool. We're back. You just lagged out for a second. Am I wrong? Like, they've said on the record they want to make this decision sooner rather than later. I mean, are we about a week away from this being dwindled down, if not kind of all but decided? Like, this has got to start happening soon.
Yeah, so what Kelly told us was, basically around, basically the next few practices, the next week or two is when they'll start getting into more third down stuff, start getting into more situational stuff. And that's when basically the way he phrased it was you start really figuring out which quarterbacks can run this offense right, which, start tailoring things for certain quarterbacks and how they do things and figure out who can really do it. And I think the way he's phrased it is that is when you will really figure out separation. But there is this kind of weird zone of, yes, of course they want to figure out who it is. In an ideal world, of course they would rather know tomorrow and be able to commit to it. But then you also look at a lot of Kelly's history, and he doesn't really do that a ton historically. There are so many examples in his where, hey, maybe they split the first half of the game one. I think we've seen that a few times.
Oh, wow.
There are a few times where maybe a certain guy gets to start game one, but then he's quickly pulled, and it's actually kind of a short leash situation. And it's another guy. So I think there's a history of quarterbacks still. I'm not even saying 2-quarterback system, although he's done that a few times. But there's a history of him still kind of figuring it out a little bit as the season starts.
Brody, you just posted a piece. Now, we were already on air, but 23 minutes ago, headline, LSU's offensive line still has plenty of questions, but now it also has options. And to me, the most interesting kind of confirmable piece of camp has been some of this O-line shuffling. Because, we've been high on Anthony Bradford for a while now in terms of guys that had the potential and looked like they were getting it together. Well, now he appears to be in the best shape ever. And all of a sudden, the Cam Wire's not out there all the time or one's right tackle like Anthony Bradford is, right? At center, Charles Turner, we talked about, had so much pressure on him. There were no other centers on this roster. He could make or break the entire thing. All of a sudden, Garrett Dellinger enters the mix. Another intriguing prospect, as he was someone who I was very high on last year in terms of a young guy who could emerge as a legitimate SEC player. How do you see this offensive line breaking down? And right now, are you willing to say that those two guys are the ones?
I guess as of this second, yeah. I'm so fascinated by this offensive line, and you and I both usually end up being fascinated by O-lines. But because the way I keep thinking of it is I feel like the floor is higher than maybe the last 2 years in the O-line. I do like the depth. I do like that you got maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 guys you kind of like to play. But it's as unclear as a starting 5 has ever been that I can remember at LSU. So it's this weird kind of, I have no idea what the ceiling is, but I kind of feel like I like the floor a little better. But yeah, I think the key buzzword with any O-line coach will say, right, is best 5 on the line. That's the goal at all times, right? And I think this version that we've seen just lately, right, with Shorts at left guard, Dellinger, as you pointed out correctly, Frazier and Bradford, that's probably in a lot of ways the ideal 5. But
Campbell left tackle, which is ironic that Campbell's the only kind of lockdown position.
What a world we live in. Yeah, but I think Bradford, he's kind of like the O-line version of John Emery, right? To your point, where it's all right, you've been hearing every staffer and everyone saying for 3 years this guy's potential's off the charts, but it's listen, at some point I'm just not going to buy that every year because weight issues, discipline, injuries too, But it does, again, but you still can only report what you're hearing. I think we've both heard, hey, he really is turning the corner, things like that. And I think with him, there was an element of, he just came from such a different world up in Michigan, different upbringing. And I think it was just kind of a tough transition these first 2 years. I think he's a shy kid. But if he is able to do, and the way Kelly put it is so interesting, that Frazier and him on that right side, he likes that because they're interchangeable. That he could switch Frazier to tackle because he played tackle at FIU and Bradford is more of a guard. That's fascinating. But what I'm so intrigued by most is Dellinger at center, because Dellinger's a guy they love, right? He looked really good at times as a true freshman last year. Love his talent. If he's good enough to be center, if he knows it and he knows what he's doing, that's a win because he's one of the 5 best linemen. That's an ideal scenario. So I am just so intrigued by what they're doing with all this cross-training, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I really like how you framed it with the ceiling and the floor conversation, Brody, because what I've been saying is, they have a ton of guys to throw at the wall, and that's good. They have a ton of experience. I don't know exactly how talented the experience is, but that's a great way, if you're listening out there, to put it, is that we don't know what the ceiling is, but the floor feels higher than it has been the last couple of years. There's a few different actually go here. Okay, what did it mean to you for Brian Kelly to win the commitment of Shelton Sampson?
I don't think it changed my outlook in theory, but it definitely quieted a lot of people, right? I mean, I think the thing you and I have both, I think you as well, but I've been yelling on your show before, is just kind of like, just don't judge 2023 too literally, just like think a little big picture here. The same reason they're landing these out-of-state kids is because those are the relationships they've had, and give them another year to get those relationships in Louisiana. So it's like, don't panic. Don't worry too much about the Louisiana stuff. But yeah, you can't deny that at least, I don't want to think of this is not how LSU thinks of it, but like as just a little bit of an olive branch off, like just like, guys, they can land the 5-star number one, probably most sought after player in the state right now. They can, like they're probably going to land a few more, with the Lance Hurd and some of these other people, Kylan Jackson. They are in good shape there. So it's not like the state's going to be a disaster this year. There were just some guys that were tricky situations. So that's how I view it, right? Yeah, football-wise, you can't overstate how big it is to have 2 top 50 receivers in a class, all that. But in terms of the symbolic nature of landing Louisiana, I just think that does have big value.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of funny that, symbolically it maybe even was needed more than it was on the football field, given how deep you are at that position. Brody Miller at Brody A. Miller on Twitter. Brody, can you talk about what's next on the podcasting front yet, now that the HTPP is done?
I probably don't want to yet, but there'll be some other, some of our more flagship, programs and things like that. I'll be hopping on those sometimes.
All right, there you go. A little sexy tease there from a sexy Luke Evans looking man. Brody, hey, enjoy your shower this morning, man.
I really appreciate it. I'll be thinking of you the whole time.
Hey, you text me quite often right when you get out. It's very odd. Never understood it. When we get back here on OTB, we'll close out hour number 1. Thanks, Brody. Later.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. You want to get the answers for you and your family, right? Maybe you don't have a family yet. That's okay. You're big, strong, single man, and you want a big old Tundra to impress people. Well, guess what? The Toyota Tundra is not only big and sexy, but it's going to stand the test of time. Wait until you see these 2022s, man. And we all know about Toyota engineering and how they hold their value. And speaking of value, if you need to trade in a car, get rid of your car, get a new one, there has never been a better time to maximize your value, and Toyotas will hold theirs as well. So look, go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, okay? It's right there off of Airline Highway, and they can fulfill whatever your needs are, whether you're buying new, used, you want to lease, you just need a rent. They have cheaper per-day rental prices than your traditional rental companies. They can custom order whatever you want. Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge today.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out neworleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Closing on hour 1 here. Jake will be joining us back in studio for the rest of the show from here on out. So whoever has started to get bored with my unceasing dribble, do not worry. You only have a couple of minutes left here. They have to listen to me in hour number 1. I'm just starting to work through Nick Underhill's New Orleans football practice breakdown from yesterday, and I'm kind of fascinated by what's going on in the secondary here. So Marshawn Lattimore's been out, slight muscle issue, not supposed to be a big deal. A little muscle strain, tear, something along those lines, which sounds scary, but, again, said to not be scary. But yesterday, they started Paulson Adebo and Alante Taylor on the outside, and Bradley Roby was taking first-team reps at the nickel. Then they sub Taylor out. Roby moves to the outside, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, C.D. Deuce, works with the first team at nickel. And one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this is because Paulson Adebo's been very good so far, right? He's been the talk of camp. We all know how good C.D. Deuce is. Bradley Roby is somebody who got lost in the shuffle last year, but seems to have really started to find his footing here this camp. We know Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best in the league, and I'm seeing some parallels between that Saints cornerback group and kind of what we just discussed with the LSU offensive line, except the difference being that I think the Saints are more, like, we know that group is more talented than maybe what we know about the LSU offensive line. So what I mean in all of this is a secondary that can present you with a ton of different looks, can shuffle guys around, can plug and play, and can get very confusing and very creative, especially with a guy like Dennis Allen pulling the strings. And that's not even getting into the safety position. Here's a direct quote from Nick Underhill on New Orleans Football. The movement in the secondary is fascinating to watch. Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May are starting to line up in various places, and their range and ability stand out. They frequently start plays near the defensive end, only to later retreat into coverage. Some of the ways the team will disguise its coverages from its beginning are beginning to come into focus. And again, so if you combine versatile safeties that can do both like that with cornerbacks that can literally pop inside, outside, and you've got backups, you've got different personnel packages you can throw out there. Alante Taylor's getting better, by the way, had a very good day locking up Marquez Callaway in one-on-ones yesterday. That's a secondary that becomes very, very exciting. Speaking of exciting, one player who's pretty exciting, even though he's buried in the well, I don't know, in no man's land in Anaheim, as, you know, they somehow have maybe the two best players in the league and are awful. But shout out to Shohei Ohtani. Unreal, man. I mean, he is the only guy that tends to break through to my kind of brain's universes. I don't care too much about the MLB, but yesterday with his 10th win on the year in a game in which he also hit his 25th home run, Shohei Ohtani became the first player and the only other player since Babe Ruth over 100 years ago to have 10 wins and 10 home runs in the same season. That's awesome. Hour 2 next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. You need any heavy landscaping equipment? You go to Louisiana's largest Hustler dealer to get that Hustler equipment. You want to go to GoTros Outdoor Power. Our favorite kind of business in that it's local and family owned. 18 years ago, Shane Gotro started this thing because he was on the other side. He was buying the equipment from dealers, and he's like, dude, I am not getting treated how I should. And you know what they say, if you want something done, what do? You do it yourself. Well, he did just that. And now, 2 decades later, they got 2 locations. Their customers are consistently satisfied, and they built it all around a simple principle. They make it easy. That's why you get free delivery anywhere in the state. That's why when you buy from GoTros, you get full access to the parts department. You get full access to the service department. So again, it's where you want to go for all of your landscape and heavy equipment. Go to GoTrosOutdoorPower.com, GoTrosOutdoorPower.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, August 10th. Your government taco forecast today in Baton Rouge. Expect to see sunny skies with a high of 86. Follow Government Taco on Instagram at GOVT Taco for monthly and daily specials. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Would You Rather Wednesday at 8:15, and Jacob Hester is in the house. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to hour number 2 of OTB. We are whole once again. Jake Hester back here in studio. I guess we're not completely whole. We're partially whole. We do have a full room. We got Mario and Taylor behind the glass. Danny remains in Italia, making everybody jealous with Instagram stories from the Amalfi Coast, drinking coffee and whatnot. Although I was doing some research over the weekend. I was talking to one of my friends. He has a 16-year-old daughter, and her and her friend were at the lake. And, boys, I think Instagram's for old people. It's starting to go down the route that all social medias eventually do. They quite literally told me that Instagram is not cool at all anymore, that, parents and old people are on it. It's the same thing with like how we talk about Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That parents and old people are on Instagram, that it is all about TikTok. And then I can't remember what the name of the other one is, but apparently there's a new app on the rise amongst the youth as well.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm not on TikTok.
Nope.
You know why, but Instagram's so great.
I just feel like we missed the boat on TikTok a little bit. Maybe not, though. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like influencers are still young, the ones that make a living on Instagram. So they're always going to be there. I'm not going to take the word of the 16-year-old you talk to.
It is not that it is not profitable.
Like Twitter's
right?
old. Young people aren't on Twitter.
Nobody's on Twitter except for sports and politics fans and journalists. Look, sports, yes, exactly.
Shoe fits for us.
We are, 100%.
Even if I wasn't in this field, I would be on Twitter just for the memes. Straight up.
And I love Twitter. Look, I love Twitter. I've spent an undue amount of my life on Twitter. And I do think it differs from Facebook in that it's not like populated with grandparents and old people or horrible algorithms that reinforce everything you believe and cause you to dismiss anything that disagrees with your worldview. Twitter is something different, but it is regionalized in a different way where it is more regionalized along interests. And as I said, it's heavily male, heavily sports, heavily politics, heavily news. And it still is a really great resource for like boots on the ground news when something is going down in the world. It's fascinating. The first place you go a lot of times is to Twitter. Facebook does not have that, but Instagram, it seems to be going the same route as Facebook. Not that it's not going to be very profitable, though it is fascinating to see Facebook's profits tank after Apple was like, we're going to make things more private and not allow these apps to track your data. Even though even that is a bit of a, like at first I was kind of cheering on Apple, like, yes, good, like great, like you're going after privacy in an age when everybody's sharing data that's good, that's consumer friendly. And then you learn that, well, actually, no, Apple just wants to keep your data for them.
Yeah.
And now they're making tons of money off it. So whatever. You trade one devil for another. But
can I say this about TikTok?
I think Instagram remains, I'm sorry, I'm getting my word. Instagram remains profitable.
Yes.
But I think it's getting uncool.
Well, I don't really care.
Okay.
Like it's all about self-confidence. Do you think you're cool? I think you're cool.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty cool.
All right, you're on Instagram. I'm on the gram. Mario, what do you think? Instagram cool?
I'm on Instagram, but I'm not active.
I've never been a big
Forget you, Taylor.
Yeah, I like Instagram.
Okay.
I don't feel very cool on Instagram, though. I will say that. I feel cool in real life.
There's some things on Instagram where I'm like, I think about it. I think you're 37. Yeah, don't do that. You're 37. So I get what you're saying. But Matthew brings up a great point inside the chat. He says the man with 1.4 million views in the past week.
That is true.
Let me say
top
something.
videos are me making whiskey and wine.
Yeah,
jokes.
let me say something. You posted it. I don't know what you posted on Twitter, I think. And he had the audacity to say, you could have at least tagged my TikTok. Or you could have used my TikTok.
Yeah, I didn't use the TikTok link.
Hey, Matt, your top TikToks are T-Bob. He doesn't have to tag you.
Let's see.
What are we doing here?
Let's see
you
what
don't
happens.
have to tag him.
Now I'm feeling pressure about
He's
getting
views off of you.
I'm wondering which kind of rude, uncouth joke I'm going to have to make tonight.
I know.
Oliver Twist to follow up on
To get his followers up.
We'll see. We'll see. If you do want to come hang out with us tonight, though, Scone and T will be back at Oliver Twist. It's going to be a ton of fun. Rock Paper Tacos is opened up next door, too. So you get some tasty tacos. Although the Oliver Twist food is rolling, bro. I mean, get them red hot sticky wings. But I'm also a huge fan. God,
what do we have that day? We went to
love
lunch there?
hot Asian wings. They have all kinds of good stuff.
I don't remember what it was.
But like I love any kind of Asian inspired or Asian flavored wings, be it Korean or any type. That's some of my absolute favorite.
I mean,
Also,
yeah,
shout out
you-
Tiger Pho, dude. I had some Tiger Pho the other
You can
day.
bring some to the boys like on Thursday morning. Put in
Do you
in the
want
fridge when you go home,
cold
and then bring it
wings?
here.
You want cold wings?
Oh, I'll eat a cold wing.
I mean,
That's
I'll
fine.
eat a cold wing, but
I mean,
I
it's
feel
not
like it's maybe
preferable,
not going
but
to give you like the full the full idea of it, the full picture of it.
I've had it before. I know it's good.
What, the red hot sticky wings?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what I got last time.
Maybe so.
We had a business lunch there.
Yeah, I'm trying.
We're
to
real
think.
professional.
I haven't had anything that I would describe as not being good. Even last week we had like chicken and waffles randomly. Anyway, whatever. Come out to Scone and T if you want to hang out tonight. Coming up this hour on OTB, no Matt Flynn. Though shout out to Matt.
Bum.
My high was huge
My
with all
high's
the
great.
kids
Matt's
at the
a bum.
beach. Or at the lake this past weekend. We got Would You Rather coming up next. If you want to go ahead and start putting your Would You Rathers in the chat. Pelicans KD talk is back in the headlines of the New York Daily News. Has reported the Pelicans remain interested in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, even if they are not one of the favorites. And a bit of this will be a rehashed conversation, but I think it's worth it because I do have I feel even clearer and more convicted now than I did before on my KD stance. But we'll start here real quick. We're not going to spend a ton of time here, Jake, but Roger Goodell going after Deshaun Watson. Remember, a lot of this, I think I dropped it in as like just kind of an offhanded line last week because I wasn't quite confident enough in my knowledge of the process to like really hammer it. But I did read, and I just repeated a line that I read where it said the appeal now goes to Roger Goodell, who gets to decide who will hear the appeal. And I wondered, well, like, okay, for all the anger over the 6-game suspension, couldn't Goodell just like, give a year if the appeal goes to him? And sure enough, Roger Goodell has now said that he thinks that Deshaun Watson should be suspended for at least a year, saying, quote, "We've seen the evidence." She, meaning Judge Sue Robinson, who originally ruled, she was very clear about the evidence. She reinforced the evidence. There were multiple violations that were egregious, and it was predatory behavior. Now, why Sue Robinson went to 6 games after talking about how it is basically confirmed that Deshaun Watson sexually assaulted multiple women, why she did 6 games is interesting because it's a very legal viewpoint, in my opinion, Jake, where she keeps citing precedent. And the precedent in the NFL is that if you have domestic violence, you get 6 games. She termed this as a nonviolent sexual assault. And so I guess like lawyers do, which I mean, that's problematic in its own right.
Yeah.
But I guess like lawyers do, using precedent over everything, I guess at the end of the day, even though she found him guilty of everything, she thought that, I can't go more than people who are beating up women. But Roger Goodell, I think in terms of, I think they're trying to establish new precedents here. And so Roger Goodell coming out and saying, no, it's here. But I mean, using the words predatory
that was going to be my first comment.
Egregious are big.
Predatory, that's serious. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a word that you use lightly. Look, the NFL's been bad at domestic violence forever.
Yeah.
Like they have not handled that well at all. In fact, like that has to be reformed. That has to change. And you can say, well, it's getting better. Well, why do you have to have steps to be better? Like, get to the finish line. Like, it's one of like the worst things that you can do, right? It can't happen. Like, there's a zero tolerance policy.
Yeah.
To that. You do it, you're done. But the NFL hasn't had that, and now they're like taking these little baby steps to get there. Hey, take a leap.
Yeah.
It is what
exactly.
it is what
And
it
that's
is,
what
which
this
is
would be.
horrible. Like, you have to do that. So you start using words like that, yeah, this isn't over.
Well, and also, I mean, so let's even approach this from a cynical standpoint, right? Like, let's approach this from the NFL doesn't actually care about the women. They care about their reputation and how it is viewed. 6 games for Watson is awful. As they've made a huge campaign to try to garner more female fans and show women that, you can be involved in the NFL, and we love women, and all of the breast cancer initiatives and everything, and all of which are admirable, even though I think a much higher percentage of all those pink sales could go to actually breast cancer charities instead of the majority going into the NFL's pockets. But while all of that is admirable, ultimately something like this speaks louder than any of that at the end of the day. If you're not only going to give shots to Deshaun Watson just 6 games, but then you're going to allow him a contract in which he only gets $1 million of his 240. I mean, quite literally, it's an awful look if you only give him 6 games. The 6 games aren't even that impactful because of the contract is structured, and he has the best contract in the history of the league. Like, that's a lot of inherent statements on how the NFL feels about women. I think Roger Goodell realized that, right? So even if he doesn't, like, maybe he is doing out the goodness of his heart, right? I mean, I doubt it. Maybe he is. But even from a cynical standpoint, 6 games was laughable, and the NFL has to do more. They're trying to do more. And I believe, again now, I'm a little confused by the structure, but I believe they have now appointed, it's a former New Jersey Attorney General. They now have a new man who will hear Goodell's appeal and then I guess rule on this.
And remember, there's a ton of players in the NFL that are currently waiting to see what happens to them.
Yeah.
Not for this, but for other issues and they're all serious. Like, don't get me wrong. For DUIs, Alvin Kamara and his situation, like, there is a ton of players that are waiting on what's going to happen to them. And I'm just telling you, and you know this, T, if you give one of those players the same amount of games for this, I mean, all hell's going to break loose. So, look, Roger Goodell knows that. Roger Goodell, he heard the pushback as soon as 6 games came out. So you said the goodness of his heart. I don't know that Roger Goodell is capable of something like that. I mean, all jokes aside,
we're on the verge of AIs having feelings.
I've sat in front of that man too many times when he just didn't have the answers. So for me, I think he saw the pushback, 6 games. He knows he's got all of these suspensions coming up, looming, that he's probably like, man, that deserves 6 games. And he's like, but I can't do 6 games if Deshaun Watson only got 6 games. So some of it, knowing Goodell, has to do with that.
So Thibodeau in the chat says, federal jury couldn't even bring charges against Deshaun, but T-Bob said he's, quote, basically confirmed guilty of everything. Well, here is Sue Robinson, who has much more information than any of us, and only looked at 5 cases, not even the full 24. But here is Sue Robinson, what she wrote in her 16-page report, quote, the NFL carried its burden to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Watson engaged in sexual assault, as defined by the NFL, against the 4 therapists identified in the report. She also said in the report that Watson engaged in conduct that, quote, posed a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person, and conduct that undermines or puts at risk the integrity of the NFL. So, Thibodeau, don't take it up with me. Take it up with Judge Sue Robinson, okay? And the preponderance of evidence that she found. She literally ruled that Deshaun Watson is not allowed to get a private massage, okay? What are we talking about? The criminal court is different than what we are talking about here. In the NFL, as she says, as defined by the NFL, sexual assault as defined by the NFL, she found him guilty in every case that she looked at, okay? So let's...
I did not know that he can't get a private massage, which makes sense.
Yeah, which is such
I didn't
an
know
insane,
that was part of it.
like, weird little, quirk. I don't know how you monitor that, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, during the week, yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson, he lives in Cleveland. You're going to go to every single spot in Cleveland. I know, like, on the road and in the team hotel, they don't allow, like, a ton of extra people in there. Like, with the Chargers, we had one team masseuse, and you had to book it beforehand, and it had to be in a certain spot. You know, all of that, like, checks and boxes are all checked and everything. So, like, they can take care of it there, but like during the week, I don't know how you're going to police that.
Chris Jarrell says sexual fetishes are not crimes. Well, I agree, but these are not sexual fetishes, right? If he was paying a sex worker, if it was agreed upon, happy ending, whatever the case may be.
Robert Kraft situation.
Yeah, exactly. That is what it is. Now it's like problematic maybe from a human trafficking standpoint and all of that,
Yes.
but that is different, right? This is women who said that they were sexually assaulted. Okay, that is different than a fetish.
It maybe started that way before it became something way more sinister, I think, just looking from the outside in.
No, I mean, he obviously has he has a fetish for that kind of fantasy, the masseuse fantasy, but the problem with it is you can't force that on a masseuse that is just there to be a professional masseuse. If you really want to go down that road, because again, we said it yesterday, no kink shaming here on Off the Bench. If you really want to go down that road, there are multiple avenues with which to do so where Deshaun Watson would have never gotten in trouble, ever. But he chose to try to force his worldview on some others, and now he's having to deal with it. I'll be interesting how this all plays out. I imagine he's probably going to get suspended for a year. Okay, that was all a little heavy. Let's shake it off. And when we get back, we'll get here with some Would You Rather Wednesday. So keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go Roof. GoRoof.com. Rooftop. That's what I want you to say when you call them up. 927. And they're going to both have a chuckle. But then you're going to be like, but hey, sorry, I actually need you to come look at my roof. They're going to be like, all right, cool. And you're going to see how easy it is. Set up a time to get that free professional estimate. Once you get that free estimate, you know exactly what's going on with your roof, where it stands. And then you make a fully informed decision about what to do next. It's a big job and insurance covers it. Well, you know what? That's excellent, y'all. That's great. Easy peasy. If it doesn't cover it and it needs to be done and you're a little worried about money, well, guess what? They're going to work with you to find payment options that relieve that stress and make sure that you can get that roof fixed for you and your family. Maybe you get a clean bill of health. That's the best, right? 927-8300, a beautiful new roof every shingle time. Roof's up.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening. with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at Revelry Team.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Off the Bench. T-Bob, Jake, Martin, Taylor hanging out with you today. Let's dive in to a little Would You Rather Wednesday.
Okay, which would you rather be?
Now, what superpower would you rather have?
The question is, would you rather date the blind or the deaf?
Would you rather drown or be burned alive?
Would you rather be overpaid or underrated?
Rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
Would you rather for Baton Rouge to have the Kingfish come back or to bring a AAA baseball team?
Oh, that's a good one.
I think it's easy, bro. Kingfish, easily. Live hockey, I think, is more exciting than live baseball, especially, I would say, on the amateur level. And also the Kingfish logo is a top tier 1 logo. Kingfish all day.
I agree with everything you said. I understand what you said. I love going to the Shreveport Mudbugs games when I get back home to Shreveport, so I appreciate a good minor league hockey team. But I think a AAA baseball team, to be able to, depending on who you're affiliated with, to be able to see like who they draft and see them in the minors and rise up and get to the big leagues, and then every once in a while you get a chance to have a rehab start for a star, and you get a chance to go out there, dollar hot dog night, get a cold pop, sit out there.
Cold pops and dollar hot dog nights exist in the arena.
Not the same though. Not the same. And look,
so you're saying AAA baseball?
I think AAA baseball.
Awful
as much
choice.
as I love minor league hockey,
It's an objectively awful choice.
you just don't like baseball. I literally heard you say that as I pulled up today.
Yeah, it's true.
I kind of agree with Hester. As y'all know, I don't even much like baseball that much, but I've seen some pretty good like major league players with the Zephyrs. Carlos Gomez, Cameron Maben, Fernando Tatis Sr. His son is killing it in the league right now. So I might go minor league baseball.
Oh, I'm going hockey.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it?
Yes, because that's all that needs to be said. You're so excited
I've been
on
trying
the off
to
chance
get
to see
you
like a prospect.
I've been trying to get you to go to Shreveport to go to a Mudbug game so we could do like a remote in Shreveport.
Live baseball is fun. Live sports are fun. Don't get me wrong. But live hockey's way less of a time commitment. It's faster paced. The hitting's fun. I think live.
You may see a fight break out.
Bro, I would take live hockey. I'm trying to think. Of all the sports that are better live than on TV, it's probably NASCAR #1 and then like hockey #2. I might take live hockey over live NBA, honestly. Not amateur.
Live hockey compared to what
But if
it
we were
is
going
on TV,
NHL versus
yeah.
NBA, I think I would actually rather go to an NHL game. And maybe it's because I haven't been to as many, but yeah.
You could also make the argument that LSU and their baseball and how much we care about it, how many fans they pack into the stadium is kind of equivalent to minor league baseball. I mean that in a positive way.
That's true.
So.
And I actually care about those players, where you're not going to care about 99% of the AAA players you see. Hashtag, would you rather Have the duck hunt dog pop up every time you mess something up, or have a Pac-Man ghost chase you around every time you round a corner? I mean, definitely the duck hunt dog, right? I'm assuming if the Pac-Man ghost touches you, you die, or some portion of your soul dies. That sounds horrifying. If every time I rounded a corner, I would lose my mind. I would purposely build a circular house with rounded edges, but in doing so, I think my mind would break.
What if there was always a fruit in reach, but you had to like hustle for it to avoid the ghosts, and then you could turn around and eat the ghosts?
No. You're talking about a power pellet?
Yeah.
The fruits just give you score, but no, it's so much to deal with. The duck hunt dog's just funny. If he just pops up. Mess with me. So no, give me duck.
I'm probably going dog too.
I raged on that son of a gun many times.
Yeah, that light gun was awesome.
It was.
I mean, what great early tech
blew my mind.
Light gun at the house. I still don't understand it, to be honest. Still don't understand how it works. It's accurate. Like you feel it.
That is actually true. How does that work?
I don't know. Because
I also old school, like, what was it? What's a TV brand? Magnavox.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a brand.
Is that what it was? I don't know. RCA.
A little
RCA TV. It's like gigantic, and you cheat and put the gun right up on the screen, and it worked. How's that work?
I don't know, because I was actually too young to have hooked it up myself, so I don't know if there was like a sensor, like the Wii or something you were hooking up. Either way, really cool tech. Todd Hoover says, "Would you rather shave your head or pierce your nose?"
Oh, pierce my nose.
Yeah,
if I shave it, it might not come back.
Shave my head. I'm not a bull.
Yeah, but they didn't say you had to leave the piercing in. I mean, you could leave it in for like a day, take it out, hole closes up, you're good.
Yeah, but you got to understand, nobody hates nose piercings more than Mario.
Yeah.
I hate them too, but I just feel like the hair would take longer to grow back.
It's very rare.
Weird. What is the hang up on a nose piercing?
It's very rare for a human being to look better with a nose piercing. It just is, in my opinion.
No, dude, man. What?
Zenith. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Todd.
Dude, no. I mean, piercing's a piercing. Like, you shave your head already, so it's not even like that's your haircut. Like you sit down, and you're like, "Hey, give me a schoolboy high and tight."
Okay,
That's what you ask for.
I'd rather be bald.
Would you rather? Wow, that's so crazy.
That is so crazy.
That is so crazy.
Like, how do you feel about like if someone has like 3 piercings in one ear?
Still a little cringe,
cartilage piercing.
A little cringe, but not as bad. Something about a nose piercing, just
What about a lip ring?
A little cringe.
That's a lot of cringe, but still not as bad as a nose ring. I just associate it with like cattle for some reason.
Now, if I was going to talk about my least...
You're kind of convincing me to switch, actually.
Oh
my God. Y'all are... Jesus.
I do think
live a little.
The worst piercings, one that I enjoy the least, are when people get the little dimple above your lip pierced or the dimple on the cheeks. Those are not great, but even then, whatever. Trent Ritchie, # would you rather a rewind button for your life or a fast forward button to see what's going to happen in the future?
Have y'all never seen Click before?
It's a dangerous game, right? I've actually never seen Click, so no. That's the answer.
Yeah, Rick and Morty just did a recent episode about this too. I would rather rewind.
I think I would rather rewind as well.
That should be the answer. I'd rewind.
Every time you make a bad joke. Just
yeah, and also if you think about it, essentially they're kind of one and the same. Because if you rewind, you're using knowledge of the future to affect the present. If you go forward, using knowledge of the future to affect the present. The only difference is you probably feel like you're more in control of the situation if you rewind, given that you just lived it. Although then you get into the butterfly effect of when you go back, can you really rely on the future? Because anything that you change could drastically change everything that's happened. It's the That's So Raven thing, right? Where every time she went to change the past, it ended up being a self-fulfilling prophecy where she just created the vision that she had. She was stuck in the eternal time loop paradox of her times.
That's deep,
would you rather, Ricky Compton, have a neck tattoo of a strawberry shortcake riding a unicorn?
Okay.
Or a nose ring connected to, or a nose ring connected to an earring. So you got a neck tattoo, strawberry shortcake riding, or you got that chain, Xerxes, like Xerxes in 300, going from your nose ring to your earring. I would do.
I pop my neck so many times during the day, I would pull that son of a gun out. I'm gonna go neck tap.
No, I'm actually gonna go with the nose and earring chain.
I'm gonna go neck tap.
Yeah, I'd feel like Xerxes a little bit.
I've been trying to find a spot in Baton Rouge that I could trust to finish my half sleeve. Hadn't found it yet. So if y'all know of a real spot, like not one that you went and got a random fleur-de-lis tattoo or something, but like a real spot, hit me up.
# let them know in the chat. # would you rather fight off a burger deprived Mario, who's only wearing white Nike high tops, or Kool-Aid T-Bob after a night at Oliver Twist?
Look, I'd hang out with Kool-Aid T-Bob. I'm not hanging out with Mario when he's hangry and wants a hamburger and he's only got white Nikes on. I ain't doing that.
Exactly. Hunger is the great motivator.
Kool-Aid T-Bob, even though he's been deep in his cup, overserved a little bit, he's going to be a hell of a time.
Yeah. Probably might rub my big sweaty belly on you.
There's no doubt that's happening.
But I'm not going to attempt to kill you and cook you and eat you like a burger deprived Mario.
I was close to that in the spring during Lent when I didn't have burgers for 40 straight days. Kept all my clothes on though, so you're welcome.
You're like Peter Griffin in the episode where they're making fun of what's the American oh my gosh. Why am I blanking? The movie with Kevin Spacey where
American Beauty?
American Beauty, thank you. There's a parody with Peter Griffin where he's just having visions of fried chicken, right? The high school girl like undoes the top, and then the fried chicken legs comes out. That's Mario, but with burgers. He's sitting there in his bathroom ready to watch some erotic videos, and instead of seeing nipples, all he's seen is cheese.
If Danny was
and
here,
lettuce and tomatoes.
If Danny was here, he'd have the picture of Cookie Monster trying to light the Burger King logo on the spoon.
Yes, exactly.
Mario, does anything make you happier than getting a meal that fulfills you? Like, is food your like love language?
It's up there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
okay.
not.
I know people that is the truth.
No, maybe it's not number one with like sports and other things, but it's definitely top tier.
Would you rather live in ancient Egypt or ancient Rome as heir to the throne?
Rome is more modern, right?
It was more modern.
Well, it's
didn't
kind
turn
of
out
fascinating. I'll say this: either way, you're actually going to be living at a quality of life that we're not even achieving today. Now, the messed up part is you're only doing that because you just have full, you have hundreds of slaves taking care of every single thing that you need. So it is incredibly immoral. But in terms of like quality of life, you are being weighted on to a level of luxury that I don't even think you can really achieve today.
I'd rather be Spartacus and try to upend Rome.
Oh, gross, dude. Awful. I mean, no. Dude. Very cool. But no, I would.
You ain't got enough grit.
I'd go ancient Egypt because if you're heir to the throne in ancient Egypt, you are literally viewed as a god. Roman culture is so ambitious. If you're emperor there, it's just a target on your head. And granted, look, I know a lot of Egyptians get like killed and everything too, rulers. But no, I'd go ancient Egypt. Plus, the Nile seems like it was probably hitting, dude.
Probably popping back.
Oh, bro, going down like some pleasure boats on the Nile. Are you kidding me? Feeding alligators and whatnot. It'd be so fun. Crocodiles. Let's do one more here. Okay, I kind of like this, a football one. Would you rather LSU go 10-2 or beat Alabama and A&M but go 7-5? So let's say 10-2 and you lose. Yeah, I think this is easy, actually. I think 10-2, and if you lose to A&M and Bama, whatever, right? It's year one.
A&M's beaten you twice in a decade. Like, if they beat you, congrats on your 8-4 season.
Yeah, I also think that it's a more threatening shot across the bow if you go 10-2 than it is to beat them and go 7-5.
You go 10-2 under year one of Brian Kelly and the new regime, everybody is shaking.
It's a shake.
Oh, man.
That'd be the best start for any coach in history, right, for LSU?
Yeah. I would imagine so.
What were we in 05? No, we were 10-2 in 05.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Les' first year was the exact same.
Because we lost to Auburn and we lost to Georgia in the SEC championship
Supposed to be, though, Tommy Moffitt always said the actual best LSU team maybe ever.
We had some dogs.
Just Katrina and other things kind of screwed it all
up.
up.
One time I got to run behind Andrew Whitworth. It was so fun.
Would you rather Taylor Sharp get a Twitter or Tiger Droppings account?
I have a Tiger Droppings account.
Wow. Okay, never mind. That is answered.
I knew Tiger Droppings was a big deal. Like, I really did. And I got a chance to meet the guys who started. Great dudes. And they've done a nice job of creating something that a lot of people use. I had no idea how many people I interacted with on a daily basis that not only have an account, but post on Tiger Droppings.
Yeah, man.
It blows my mind. Like, people, like, I'll see, like, hey, did you see it on Tiger Droppings? Like, the only time I've ever been on Tiger Droppings is when Flynn and I first started radio, and we were reading off people talking about how bad we were at radio on air.
Yep.
Like, we made a bit out of it.
I avoided it, I think, until maybe it was a coaching search here recently. I mean, I avoided it for my entire life.
The coaching searches are fun on Tiger Droppings.
Yeah, I finally got on, and it was, I think I had built it up in my head into being something much more toxic than it actually was. It was just a regular corner of the internet filled with regular amounts of toxicity.
No, I post on it from time to time. Not every day, but a couple times a week.
A lot of funny stuff as well.
So you're the guy that's been talking all the smack about early line, Taylor.
Yeah, it's me.
I see you read
it is, yeah.
So, wait, Mario, do you go out and read that? Because there's no value in that.
Similar to Hester, one time I went and I laughed, and that was it. I mean, it's random people on the internet. You definitely got to, do what you can to cater to the audience, but you can't get lost in that stuff. It'll never end well.
No.
Greg, you're starting to sound like Moscona. I don't not read it because I don't think there's like people that know what they're talking about. I just don't read it because it just doesn't affect my daily
I don't read it because negative stuff affects me to a disproportionate. I don't think I'm unique in this. I think it's all human beings. Hearing something negative about yourself hits way harder than hearing something positive. You hear something positive, you're like, okay, good, yeah, I think positive about myself, so that makes sense. You hear something negative, it's at odds with how you feel about yourself, and it really sticks in your craw. There's no need to engage with that. I'm not going to go out of my way to find that. I get on Twitter all the time, YouTube, whatever. That is what it is. I don't care, but I'm also not going to go seek it out.
Yeah,
is the point.
I could sometimes get on athletes, like the guy we're going to talk about in the next segment, about caring too much what people say on Twitter, because at the end of the day, all the people's opinion on there does not really affect what you're doing.
Is it all negative? Or is there any positive things on there, Taylor?
Oh,
I have no idea. I'm asking.
Yeah, there's positives, and honestly, T-Bob, you're pretty well liked on there.
There you go.
Look, and when I went on, I want to be clear. When I went on there, my great takeaway was that, this is just a very fun, normal corner of the internet. It is not what I had built up in my mind. I had built it up as some sort of place of evil where all my greatest insecurities would be laid bare before me, like it'd be on some horrible ayahuasca
so they have different
trip.
forums. The Tiger Rant is sports. The OT Lounge is where it gets pretty bad. That's like a Tiger Droppings Reddit.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard the pop culture ones. I can't remember what it's called. People love. But yeah, man, no, it's a cool part of it. It's just the internet, and I love it.
Yeah,
and I love the internet.
I was just messing with Taylor. There's actually a lot of support for the Spanish broadcast on Tiger
There we go, dude.
So I mess with them.
Hell yeah, there we go, dude. Let's go. All right, when we get back, very long. Let's get back and talk some Pelicans and KD. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I want you to go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. That's All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. And go ahead and get you and your family your new vehicle. Don't forget that every Toyota comes with Toyota Care, which is that excellent warranty coverage. I don't care if you're buying new or a Toyota certified used vehicle. If you're buying, maybe you're leasing, maybe you're buying that used. Again, Toyota Care with all. I also want to talk about the rentals. We do it every single day, tell you twice a day normally, and it's because if you need to rent, you get a better selection and cheaper per day rental prices than your traditional rental companies. Rivers and the fam just took a Sienna down to the beach. You can too. Go to allstartoyota.batonrouge.com.
They bought one yet?
Not yet, but I think they're going to, man.
Yeah, they're going to. Eventually, it will happen. They'll be in the minivan gang. They'll be able to roll down the window, throw out the symbol. I'll throw it so T-Bob's hands. I don't know if you can see it. The minivan gang symbol. Go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a national.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints Camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back, OTB. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. August 10th, 2022. New Bluey season out. Give it up, folks. Scone and T back tonight at Oliver Twist.
What y'all going to be talking about, Bo?
A little shoe camp, probably. You know?
Y'all go an hour? Or kind of whatever?
Go an hour. Last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, questions. But, yeah, generally go an hour.
Oh, did you just break something?
My chair is falling down.
I actually think that you did just crack that thing there.
Crack what? No, the bottom of that thing. You ever seen look, first off, I didn't even hit the bottom of that thing. You ever seen the bottom of that thing? That thing's, look, is yours? No, yours isn't as messed up. This thing has fallen out quite a few times, which has led to some cracks.
Have you ever had it on air fall on top of your head? I have.
Yes, it looks. Yeah. It's very funny. It's that wonderful, unplannable physical comedy that sometimes life gives us. That is always just makes me crack up. Dude, to start hour 3, we're gonna do something pretty cool. Where the World War II Museum is having a massive symposium this Friday, in which they are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Band of Brothers. And so we are going to talk to some of the actors and family members of the real life vets and the actors who played those vets. So look forward to that. Right now, though, let's talk a little Pelicans and KD, as the New York Daily News have reported the Pelicans remain interested in Kevin Durant. They listed Brandon Ingram, Herbert Jones, Devontae Graham, and Jose Alvarado as potential candidates to be traded for Durant. And look, again, we've had this conversation a bit before. In my opinion, y'all, I feel more convicted than ever that this is the wrong move. And I get it. In a vacuum, you give up any of these guys for KD. But in the context of who the Pelicans are right now and who they have been the past decade, I feel more sure than ever that you should not do this. I mean, this is the first time in forever where there is genuine, legitimate offseason excitement. There is no drama. There is no insecurity. There are only guys here who want to be here. Why ruin all of that for someone who has proven to be full of drama and insecurity and say, well, T-Bob, because he's a top 5 player. And the idea behind that is maybe he gives you the abilities to truly contend for a championship. First off, I remain unconvinced on that front. Not on the top 5 part, but on the contending for a championship front. Secondly, the Pelicans don't really, this sounds dumb, but the Pelicans don't need to be worried about winning rings. Win the ace seed. Like, make the playoffs 2 years in a row. Like, how ahead of yourself can you get if you're talking about winning the NBA Finals? Prove that you can be a consistent playoff team that is not going to make us sweat out whether or not you're going to make it over the final month of the season. Like, do that for me for 2 to 3 years, then let's worry about taking the next step. And so, no. Like, this is the context I am talking about. It's absurd for a franchise that hasn't even grabbed the 8th seed in years to have visions of lifting, the Larry O'Brien, I believe.
Yes.
So, no, get the hell out of here. I am not about this. I don't want KD. I want to keep this core.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with KD, the player, as you mentioned. Yes, he is a top 5 player. Yes, he's one of, after he retires, I would think a top 15 player of all time. I mean, he has that type of ability. I mean, people have talked about how rare KD truly is in the game of basketball of all time, not just currently in this generation. So, yes, all those things are true, but also the core of your team is incredibly strong. And like you said, T-Bob, you're not maybe that one piece away from winning a championship right now. You are currently building to get to be a team that every single year is perennial playoff team, right? That's what you're trying to get right now. And you have a core that prove that they can not only get into the postseason, but they can compete with teams like the Suns. And now you've gotten Zion Williamson back. You've gotten one of the young stars in the NBA back. Like, your core right now and the chemistry you have, why would you even
it's crazy
touch that? And you have younger players. Like, you have B.I., who is how much younger is B.I.
A lot. KD? He's 24.
8 years?
Yeah, KD's 33, so yeah.
Okay, so 8-9 years.
10 years, basically.
Almost a decade, okay? Yeah. Almost a decade.
That's a great
so, no. I mean, what do we – I wouldn't even think about, because what you have to give up to get KD is going to crush your depth, which you've got one of the best depth situations, I think, in all the NBA, to be honest with you. And then you're going to mess with the chemistry, I think, that the Pelicans have going.
And you really can't get rid of Herb, dude. I mean, you were talking about a rookie who just took the league by storm. You know how rare that is? Develop that piece. Nurture that piece. To me, it's funny. And Jake, you mentioned kind of the culture and everything. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the famous quotes that he has, in war, the morale is to the physical as 10 is to 1, right? And what that means is that, sure, being physically talented and whatnot, that has value, but belief, chemistry, the ability to execute as a team vastly outweighs your physical ability. To me, KD represents the proverbial monkey's paw, right? Where the monkey paw has the ability to give you whatever you want in the world. It has the ability to fulfill your wishes, but that paw curls, and you don't realize the unintended consequences of your wishes. Like, you think it's going to give you the world, and instead it destroys it. So, no, Kevin Durant. I know there's probably much to do about nothing because he doesn't want to come here anyway.
Real quick before we break, players to average 28 points, 5+ rebounds, and 5+ assists in their first 4 career playoff games. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Brandon Ingram.
Bam! Let's go, baby. Now let's just get him back to the playoffs, okay? That's all you need to worry about. When we get back, let's close out hour number 2.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What up, y'all? Closing hour number 1. Quick minute right here, and then we get back. We are going to talk to Robin Lang and Trish Zavril. If you don't know who they are, Robin Lang is the actor who played Babe Hephron in Band of Brothers. Babe Hephron is a real-life soldier from Pennsylvania who was awarded the Bronze Star during the Battle for the Bulge. He made a name for himself kind of talking about his experiences in war. He passed in 2013. Trish Zavril is his daughter, right? And it's kind of crazy because the actor Robin not only got to know Babe when he was still alive, imagine, knowing someone that you are playing, but is also now very close with Trish. And what we're all doing this for, the World War II Museum is having a big 20th anniversary Band of Brothers symposium coming up this Friday, where you can relive one of the biggest shows. I mean, it's HBO, right? HBO original.
Yeah.
Right. Late 90s, early 2000s. I want to say maybe early 2000s.
I know it was early 2000s because I remember watching it in high school for sure.
Yeah, and it was absolutely fantastic. And if you're a World War II nerd or nut, you probably enjoyed it, and worth a rewatch too as well. But if you like the World War II Museum, you should go check it out this Friday. We'll talk more about it next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Patient Plus Urgent Care. Patient Plus Urgent Care. PatientPlusUC.com. For life's unexpected moments, you go into Patient Plus and you get exceptional care. And quality is a word that I would keep going back to, both in terms of the quality of the facilities and the quality of the treatment that you're receiving from the medical professionals. If you need your occupational medicine needs met, you're a business, and you're drug screen testing, whatever, Coast Guard, whatever the case may be, go to the Mid-City location of Patient Plus. It's unlike a lot of these doc med places, which are dingy little crap offices. They're the best, okay? So, once again, that's Patient Plus Urgent Care.
Go to patientplusuc.com. Convenience, right? 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Open every single day. In the Baton Rouge area, they are going to have a location that is convenient for you because you're going to get quality care for life's little unexpected moments. Go to patientplusuc.com. Book that appointment today. Get in and get better.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Wednesday, August 10th. Your government taco forecast today in Baton Rouge. Expect to see sunny skies with the high of 86. Follow Government Taco on Instagram at GOVT Taco for monthly and daily specials. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. And right now, let's dive right into it. Right now, it is my pleasure to do this. I'm very excited. So this Friday at the World War II Museum, there's a Band of Brothers 20th Anniversary Symposium going down at the museum. It's presented by Hancock Whitney, the World War II Museum's Jenny Craig Institute, and the Trail and Conference departments. And it's going to feature many of the actors, family members of the real-life service members. It's going to be a fascinating celebration of country, sacrifice, World War II in general, and Easy Company, the show that Band of Brothers was based off of. And right now, we have Robin Lang with us, who played Babe Hephron, one of a fascinating veteran of Easy Company who came in late, was awarded the Bronze Star, the Battle of the Bulge, was in Operation Overlord, experienced heartbreak, helped to capture the Eagle's Nest. And we actually have Babe's real-life daughter, Trish Zavril, as well with us. What's going on, y'all? Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having us. How are you both?
We're doing well. And let's start there, because that's a pretty interesting accent there. That is Robin. That's a Scotsman accent, I believe. And yet here, Babe being from South Philly, how did you manage to land that job? What was that audition process like?
Yeah, as you say, I'm South Philly by way of Dundee in Scotland. It was a long process, but ultimately a rewarding one. And I think they knew they could knock us into shape once they hired us. So HBO, they don't do things by halves, and they ran us pretty hard.
Well,
we got that accent in there.
And so what's fascinating about it is that the same way that in real life, Babe ended up joining Easy Company as a replacement a bit later on, it seems like HBO kind of had you mirror that in real life, where maybe the rest of the cast had gone through boot camp together and had gone through all this training, and you were kind of thrust in there late. Did you find that helped you kind of speak some truth into that art?
I think so. Yeah, it was a deliberate decision, as you say, by HBO and the military advisor, Captain Dale Dye, who will be with us this weekend. Looking forward to seeing the captain very much. And so, yeah, he perfected that kind of idea of an actor's boot camp. He'd worked on previous films and shows, and so the guys were together for 2 weeks, and then anybody else who came in after that came in as a replacement. And so there was that mirrored that kind of slight disconnect that initially existed when replacements came in, but once they made you, they put you through the mill a bit, but once you'd shown willing and kind of had been through what they felt they'd been through, you were welcomed into the fold. It was a little bit easier for me because of who I played and who Babe and Bill, they were so notorious that I was given a slight pass, because of who Babe was. I was given a bit of a pass, a bit of an easy ride.
Well, Robin, what's it like when you're playing someone? I mean, you're and Babe's daughter. I mean, sitting right next to you when you're playing someone who actually lives, someone that everyone kind of knows the story about. Like, how do you prepare to make sure that you get that right?
How do you prepare? You've just got to research. You've just got to research and and speak to people and read. And I spoke to Babe. I spoke to Bill Garnier, and he was really useful. Bill, a lot of these guys, I've talked about this in the past. The guys they didn't really like to talk about themselves. They're much more inclined to talk about other people. Everybody else was a hero. They just happened to be along for the ride, kind of thing. And although Babe was very open, which a lot of these men weren't, they didn't like talking about their experiences. But Babe, from day one, he was like, whatever you need to know, just ask me. But also speaking to Bill was great as well, because he was able to, he had different viewpoints of similar events and things like that. And there's, I've played real life people before, but generally they're historical figures and they're already dead. So that, the only person that you're going to offend is maybe a distant family member. When there's a kind of hardened war veteran breathing down your neck, it's a slightly different proposition.
Well, and I mean, even right now, right? You're sitting next to Trish, and Trish, I'd love your perspective on this, because obviously Robin played your father, right? And that's you're going to have a perspective on this unlike anybody else. What was that experience like, seeing your father portrayed on screen and then interacting with your father, interact with Robin? What's it been like as the daughter of Babe?
Wow, this experience has been a little bit surreal for me because it's been going on now for more than 20 years. But initially, I remember my dad calling me. I had just told you this story the other day for the first time. My dad called me when he found out who they were casting Band of Brothers. And he called me and he's like, listen, kid, you're never going to believe it. They got a Scotsman playing me. A Scotsman. He's like, how's a Scotsman going to do a South Philly accent? And I said, pretty sure though, it's HBO. I think though, it'll be okay, Dad. It'll be okay. So we were both skeptical. But truly, watching the miniseries, I felt Robin. I can see my dad. I see my dad in Robin's performance. He has his mannerisms. He has his inflections. And there's one scene in episode 6 where Babe and Doc Rowe are in a
foxhole.
Foxhole, thank you. And that's my dad. Like, that is my dad. That scene.
Wow.
I was in tears. That's my dad. So I think the whole series is just amazing. But truthfully, I think Robin really nailed it.
So I have to imagine, like, this is special for y'all to have this reunion, to be able to get together, to be able to see these people that you created such a masterpiece with, and everybody involved, because T-Bob and I were able to have a 10-year reunion in our national championship football team, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. And, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like for y'all to all get together. I mean, tell stories of filming and tell stories of real life of the characters you played as well. I've got to imagine it's something y'all look forward to.
Absolutely. Some of us have gotten to be really, really good friends through this. I mean, it's just been such an incredible experience. I never in a million years would have met Robin otherwise, and a lot of the family members, we didn't know each other. The children of the men of E Company, we didn't know each other, and now we do. So it's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah, we talked. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Robin. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we talked briefly to Susan Smithfin, who's her father was in Easy Company, and his name was Burr Smith, and she said that she was speaking to her mom about something, and her mom said, "Oh, and by the way, I see that HBO are making a show about the Airborne, and your dad was in the Airborne, and it's about Easy Company. Your dad was in E Company. I wonder if that's the same thing." No idea. We have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea that my dad. All I knew was that my dad was in the war. I knew he jumped out of airplanes because he was very proud of that. He loved that. And I knew that my uncle Bill, Bill Garnier, who's my godfather, I knew he lost his leg in the war. But when you're a kid, what does that mean to you when you're 8 years old? I had no idea. I had no idea until the book and the movie, and oh my God,
Yeah.
Well, and so Trish, I at the risk of maybe getting a bit too personal here, that is something I'd like to explore a little bit, which is, and we'll get to it from the show perspective, but like World War II, there is not a more fascinating story, maybe in the entirety of human history, right? But the further we get from it, the more it starts to almost feel like myth, simply because it was so long ago that it becomes kind of grandiose. Maybe you lose a lot of that human element. What was it like growing up in the household of a World War II veteran, like somebody who had to go to the other side of the world and deal with the worst that life had to offer? How was that growing up in that environment?
Well, like I said, he never spoke about the war ever.
Wow.
So I knew nothing. I knew absolutely all, other than I jumped out of airplanes, kid.
Wow,
that was
it.
The extent of that was it. I jumped out of airplanes, kid, and Bill lost his leg. And okay, because my Uncle Bill, I used to see my Uncle Bill all the time, and I knew him. He was on crutches and he lost his leg in the war, and that was what I knew. My dad never discussed any of it, but I think he was very overprotective of me, and I wonder if part of that came from that sort of scary place of anything can happen,
So how emotional was it for you then when you saw the show and you like finally gained some of this insight?
I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. And yeah, it was incredible because I'm like, you did that? Yeah. But he would, Dad, you did that? And and then he would tell me a story about someone else. Yeah, I did that, but Mercer did this, or, Muck did this, or, they never wanted the attention just on themselves.
Wow.
So.
Robin, I have to ask you this because, obviously you're still working. You still have major titles that are coming out. But as an actor, to have something that here 20 years after you filmed it, 20 years after it premiered, it's still celebrated like Band of Brothers is. I have to imagine as an actor, that just doesn't happen very often.
No, it's the only time it's happened. I've been really fortunate. I've worked on, big shows and movies and in theater and I've made some really good friends. I'm a great believer in if I finish a job and I've made a good friend, that I take with me,
right.
Moving forward, I think that's a good job. You make friends, but in this industry, you're thrown together for a time and you become really close during that time because you have to, quite often you need to be emotionally intimate with people. So you have to learn to trust each other really quickly. So you become really close for a time, but then you kind of, at the end of the job, you go your separate ways and maybe you bump into people again and that's great, but it's not often you make a really good friend. I always figure if you make one good friend who you keep in touch with, that's a good hit rate,
Yeah.
Band of Brothers, I'm friends with everyone.
Wow.
Like literally.
Yeah.
We're all, not all of us, but if I need to get in touch with someone, I can get in touch with them within the hour.
Right.
I can't phone them directly. I can phone someone and say I need to get in touch with so and so. Everybody's in satellite groups, and we're all friends. We bump into each other. As I say, we're all in touch. A lot of us are in touch in various spheres. But you bump into people and you have this instant reconnection that happens. There was a period where I didn't see a lot of the guys. We were in touch via email, but I didn't see a lot of the guys for maybe a decade, and then we reconnected maybe 2014, 2015. A lot of the guys that lived in LA particularly, I didn't see much of them because I mainly work in Britain and Europe.
Yeah.
And literally within 15 minutes, half an hour, it was like we'd just finished filming the week before, and it was a good decade had passed, but we just picked up where we left off,
Well,
it's incredible. It's unique. It's completely unique.
And you mentioned, Robin, kind of emotional intimacy, and I would kind of frame the same thing that I asked Trish, but to you, which is the idea, right, that World War II, as we get further from it, it becomes kind of more mythological in a lot of ways. How kind of real did it make it for you as you're doing research, you're acting out these scenes? I know some of the sets were really astounding in terms of being on set, and you're really engaging with this material and trying to get yourself in this headspace. Like, did it get, how much of an impact did it have on you kind of psychologically, just in terms of getting to the point of like, wow, what these young men must have went through 70 years ago?
Well, I would never presume to say, oh yeah, I know what they went through, because I think I would say there were moments, throughout the whole shooting process, there were moments where, big battle scenes where you maybe got the tiniest, slightest inkling of what they may have gone through. When, particularly the Bastogne, the Battle of the Bulge stuff, when there's a lot of, pyrotechnics going off and the ground's exploding and trees are exploding and there's gunfire and, it's loud and it's exhilarating, but you're not in any danger really. I mean, you might trip and, cut your hand or something, but you're not in any real danger.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of doing your job as an actor, it was incredible. Everything, it's like we've already touched upon. HBO, they don't do things by halves.
Yeah.
They do everything properly, and that's right down to the thread count of the shots.
Yeah.
And Joe Hobbs, who was a really good friend to Babe and sadly died not long after Babe died, and you're still friends with his family. There you go. There's another. The ripple, the butterfly effect of connections is incredible. Trisha and Joe Hobbs' daughters are really good friends. But the first batch of shirts came in, and Joe looked at them and went, "No, the thread count's wrong." And
wow.
HBO said, "So what do you want to do? Do you want to return them or keep them?" And he said, "Well, I mean, they do, And I believe they said, "No, we're not making do.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep them or do you want to return them?" And he said, "I'd rather it looked right." And they said, "Fine, junk them. We'll order more shirts." And this was probably 1,000 shirts or something like that arrived. But the thread count was wrong. And when you're working in that kind of environment, it just makes everything really easy. You don't have to fudge anything. You don't have to make believe. It's just, you just have to get on with the job of in this instance, telling the story of your, the person that you're trying to portray and do justice to their story and their memory.
All right, Robin, so we are technically a sports show, even though we do go outside those lines a lot, and this has been a lot of fun. But I want to ask you one sports question. Dundee United FC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all you had to say. Okay, that's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. See, I'm an Evertonian. I'm an Everton fan, so a different league, but I can appreciate somebody that has a club.
Okay, well, that's, I've got a little affinity for Everton with Duncan Ferguson, who was a
Dundee absolutely.
player, and that was where he started his career as a young man. So big Duncan Disorderly, as we call him.
So Robin is a Scotsman playing in Philadelphia, and Jake, you could be a Louisianian. Now we just got to get you doing a Scottish accent.
Hey, I'll work on it. We'll have that going.
Hey, Robin, Trisha, I cannot thank you all enough for coming on today. Kind of give the people an idea of what they can expect on Friday.
On the Saturday.
Or Saturday. Oh, Saturday. Excuse me. I said Friday. I apologize.
The portion of the symposium that Robin and I are doing is going to be on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it's the legacy of Easy Company, and we are going to talk. It'll be Robin and I, Frank John Hughes, who played Bill Garnier, and Bill Garnier's son, and some other family members. We're just gonna sit and talk about the legacy of E-Company, what it means to us, and how it's impacted our lives and our relationships. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, but it's also gonna be very interesting. So
yeah,
we're gonna do question and answer.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, look.
But we're gonna be telling stories. We're gonna be telling stories about our dads, and hopefully
I'm not telling stories about my
you're not telling stories about your dad. So maybe some stories that people haven't heard.
Yeah.
So
honoring the greatest generation at one of the greatest museums in the entire world, going down this weekend, the Brandon Brothers 20th Anniversary Symposium presented by Hancock Whitney, the World War II Museum, Jenny Craig Institute, and the Trail and Conference Departments. Thank you all so much. You have an excellent day. This was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank y'all.
All right, y'all, take it easy. When we get back, we got more OTB. So keep it locked right here off the bench.
OTB, OT.
Look, we are really excited to be partnered with Thomas Email and Riverlands Insurance, and we want you to hit up Thomas for any insurance needs that you have. Jake will give you his number at the end of this thing. But remember, Riverlands Insurance is one of the fastest growing insurance companies in the entirety of the South. And the reason why is they consistently work to get their customers the best policies. They're Louisiana's largest progressive dealer, but they have access to hundreds of different dealers, so they can always find you your best policy. No, I said best, right? Not just the cheapest. A lot of people will suck you in with that. You're not going to actually get the coverage you need, and when you get in trouble, you're going to be screwed. Not the case when you work with Riverlands Insurance. So hit up Thomas Email today for some Riverlands Insurance.
Here's what I love about it. Thomas's cell phone number, 225-206-1517. So you are talking to him personally. This is not an office number. You're not going to speak to someone who puts you on hold. No, call that number, and this is Thomas, 225-206-1517.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Dad!
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Yes!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Skona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Yeah, it's a good series. And then they have Band of Brothers Pacific as well.
Welcome back in off the bench here. T-Bob, I am certain Mario's trying to get us caught. He's trying to let us slip one day. He always turns on the microphone.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're talking Band of Brothers here.
Head on a swivel.
No head on a swivel would be better. He's coming for our job. He wants the morning slot. He's trying to get us to trip up.
If anybody would,
it'd be Mario.
Shadily do a little sabotage, I think is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I would not put it past Mario if you catch him in the right mood or the right day, or if he deemed that you crossed him to a place where it is unforgivable,
or if you had a piercing,
you could yes, or if you have a nose ring, then he will absolutely try to get you fired.
Yeah, producer has all the power, man,
and take your job.
Hell yeah.
In many ways,
I just felt like he got a little excited when he said that.
Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy Chesthair. Paved the way for all of us back here.
James Harrelson. I wonder what old James is doing nowadays, dude. Hope he's doing well. Yesterday, we did not get to... Oh, and guess what? For everybody who enjoyed that interview, we got another Band of Brothers interview coming up tomorrow. Okay? So look forward to it. Watch Band of Brothers if you have never seen it. And again, I know it's weird. Like when I was born, right, and growing up, World War II would have been, 40 years ago. Pretty long time, right? But still, a ton of living veterans, ton of living people all around. We're talking about closer to 80 years now. And as time goes on, I think you start to take a lot of things for granted. And that's one of the reasons why art throughout human history has had the ability to change things like politics, right? Even though art is whatever. You're like, it's just something you're consuming. But there's a reason why you can use art to change the world, and that's because it gives you perspective on things. And so if you want to get an inkling of, what this generation sacrificed and a lot of what they went through and the incredible human heroism and tragedy, I would say Band of Brothers is one of the best pieces of media that has ever been created to do that. In fact, Jake, did you not say the other day, maybe the only time you've ever actually cried while watching something was Band of Brothers?
Yeah, it's one of the very few. Yeah, for sure. Any time that you can go back and you get a deep dive look into what someone that has been at war goes through, and Band of Brothers, I think did as well of a job as anything I've ever seen. And the real life stories, and what they went through, and just that generation. Yeah, it's hard not to get emotional when you watch something like that. And so I enjoyed that a lot. I know there's other things in the sports world out there, but look, for me, my dad, both my grandfathers being in the military, that was a lot of fun for me, and I'm excited we got another one tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, also the symposium is going to be awesome, and you need to take advantage of these things again while they're going on, right? Like I think all the time about how I wish I would have seen more kind of veterans when they were living, and they used to do these events at the World War II Museum where they'd have a veteran come and speak about his experiences, because once you lose them, they are gone, and you can no longer be afforded those opportunities. And yeah, there are other things going on in the sports world, like Wake Forest Junior quarterback Sam Hartman out indefinitely due to treatment for a non-football related medical condition. Actually, that sounds very serious. I approached that sentence in a very kind of light and jovial voice. It's not that jovial. Do we know what this is? Do we have any further information, Mario, on what, because you're the one that texted to this group, what the condition is?
I think all that's known right now, it's a non-football injury. I would assume maybe it's a heart condition just because we see that kind of stuff with people like this, but I don't know much more other than that.
Okay, but that to be painfully clear, your assumption is just you making an assumption.
Yes.
You're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Well, obviously, I hope it's nothing serious. Sam Hartman's a great quarterback. Jake laid it out yesterday. You may actually have the best grouping of quarterbacks in the ACC in the entire country. And if not that, Sam Hartman is one of the 5 guys that we said is probably better than DJ Uiagalelei and Wake Forest. And he was great last year, even though he cost us that $500 parlay. But
he did not cost us.
That's fair.
Them trying to fit the counter against North Carolina cost us.
That's true.
What are we doing? Learn how to fit it. But Sam Hartman, great quarterback, came back this year. The expectations through the roof at a place like Wake Forest. They played in the ACC title game a year ago.
Yeah.
And him coming back was a big reason why you saw them in the top 25. So first and foremost, we hope he's okay, because that seems like a serious issue, although we don't know what it is. We've been through that with teammates before when it wasn't a football injury. They've had to step away. So hopefully he'll be okay. Maybe this is a precaution. Maybe it's something that he can come back from.
Yeah.
Because, yes, fantastic player, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, but also, this is a young man who's 22 years old.
22 years old, and from a pure football perspective, a brutal blow to Deacon fans that have kind of been waiting, and now finally it looked like they were on the doorstep of achieving a lot of their football dreams, even achieved some of them last year, and a program that had to deal with some real crazy crap. I read an article randomly a couple weeks ago, pre-show in the bathroom chilling, where I came across an article on the WikiLeaks scandal, and I had completely forgotten about this. For a couple of years, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. Who's the head coach right now?
Dave Clawson.
Dave Clawson.
Yeah.
Dave Clawson's been there this is year 8.
So I was going to say, this was near the beginning of the Clawson era. They're out here game planning, and the other team knows everything that they're doing. They can't what the hell is
radio
going
announcer?
on? Yes. Turns out the color guy, who was a Wake Forest lifer, former coach, former player, the color guy was leaking the Wake Forest game plans to the opponents the Friday before the games. And so Dave Clawson's sitting here trying to bring Wake Forest up in football. And it's come on, I'm having to deal with this crap? Why? Why? Nobody's here. Wake Forest already has a tough enough road without somebody literally leaking everything. No.
And who it was. Doug Morrow would never.
Doug Morrow would never. Doug Morrow, you know what? 2011, was that your fault? Everybody's always asking me. Maybe we should be asking Doug. Somebody check Doug's cell phone records. Make sure he did not call Nick Saban that weekend.
Doug wouldn't do that.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so
but
had a pretty real job at that time as well.
Yeah, it's whatever. The Clawson stuff, and Clawson's done a hell of a job. So this would be an absolutely brutal blow to arrest that momentum potentially. And then Mario, you sent another screenshot with 3 exclamation points, and I'm not sure this warrants 3 exclamation points, but that is Nick Underhill's tweet that the Saints are signing KJ Costello. Now, I'm imagining 3 exclamation points are simply because of what he did to LSU at Tiger Stadium 2 years ago.
Yeah, 600+ yards. We all remember.
What a brutal day, dude. Fresh off a natty, Miles Brennan era starting. Okay, you're going to try to prove that the offense can still be elite. And the offense was. We had no idea just how bad the defense was. I remember watching the defense that day. Felt like the slow descent into hell. Where it was it can't get worse. Oh, it's not going to happen again. That was a fluke. It's still happening. It happened. And it just kept happening. Same play,
Missouri.
Getting beat, same ways over and over and over again. And then it continued from one game to the next and next. And it was, again, the slow descent into hell. I have never seen such crappy defense in my entire life. Even in that Wake Forest game that we're referencing last year, that was better defense than what you saw at LSU against KJ Costello that day.
My
man
gosh.
who lost his starting job 2 weeks later.
I'm they're not going to play man in a bunch formation.
Again.
Nobody does that.
Again.
At Evangel High School, we knew to check zone if we saw a bunch. Oh, they're playing man in bunch. Oh, there he goes. There goes a crosser for 70. Oh, there goes for 45. Oh, there he goes for 50.
Pelini's like old boy in Breakfast Club, just stacking detentions. You want another one? Yeah. He just kept going for it. Yeah, okay, yeah. God, that was awful.
Man.
All right, when we get back here, let's finish out our top 25 poll from yesterday. How about that? More on TV next.
OTB, OT.
Go to ITI Technical College. ITIcollege.edu is the website where let's talk about investing in yourself, okay? New semester beginning. Well, actually, I should double check if it's begun or not. But the point is, you go check online. Invest in yourself. The Georgetown study from 2021 says that ITI Technical College is literally the best investment you could make in the state and top 15 in the country when it comes to what you will pay for school versus what you can be expected to make 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And so get that AOS degree in 2 years, whether you're taking day or night classes, learn from faculty members with at least 4 years of real-world experience, train on campus right here in Baton Rouge on facilities that are scale models or exact models of what you'll be working on. Change your life for the better with ITI Technical College.
Yeah, those classes actually start on August the 29th.
There
So
you
go
go.
ahead, go to iticollege.edu. You'll see the phone number there, 877-591-1070, or go see them today on Airline Highway. That's iticollege.edu.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints Camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Mario just blew my mind. which is rare, but you know I have a passion for vocab. And we heard the overrated, underrated tease, and I was like, I'm going to do a segment where it's just called Rated, and you just judge teams that you think are properly viewed. And then Mario said, if you're not, what'd you say? If you're not discombobulated, what did you say?
If you're not discombobulated, you're just in a constant state of combobulation.
Which kind of blew my mind because we all agree. Combobulation, or to combobulate, sounds like chaos, right? It sounds like things bebopping all around, like everything's out of order and wild, right?
Like you're in a tizzy.
Yes, but the definition of combobulate is, quote, to put together in order to bring something out of a state of confusion or disarray.
Brian Kelly about to combobulate the hell out of this team.
There you go, dude.
No, I could see that because discombobulated is a mess of combobulated.
Exactly. And that's how Mario arrived there, through context clues, which you can always use in vocab exploratory journeys. But to me, there is still a base disconnect with how the word, like a lot of words sound like what they mean, like moist. We've talked about that quite a bit. Combobulate
Don't love that.
does not sound like order. Like combobulate to
No,
me
it doesn't
sounds
sound
like
like it.
chaos. That's cool though, man. I'm gonna start yelling at my kids, you better combobulate this room right now. Okay? If this thing isn't combobulated by the time I get home, it's your ass. I yelled at my 4-year-old. She didn't understand what I was saying. No, not really. I'm not looking forward to that day. I can't get that girl to clean anything already. Is this a word? Let's see. I don't know if it's actually officially a word, though. Maybe, might not be. Who cares? Use combobulate. Jake, yesterday we did a little top 25 talk. However, being this show and getting distracted and spending 20 minutes talking about the number 11 team in the country, I think it was
Who came in number 11?
State. We did not get through the top 25. We ended at 15 with USC. You said you have more thoughts. Do you want to go through the final 10, or do you have, like, since we're on a limited time, you have very specific thoughts that you want to jump into?
We can go through whatever, but just some of the thoughts. It's like, how do we get to where we're at? And I don't have it in front of me, but I know, like, USC coming in at number 15. I understand what they did, but it's like, okay, why? Like, why? They were 4-8 last year.
Yeah.
They got
Addison,
beat.
Riley.
Okay.
Caleb Williams,
Okay.
I think is the answer.
Who's playing defense?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you.
On the next to worst defense in the Pac-12. It's like, why are they where they're at right now? Because, like, I look at a team like UCLA, who only received, I think, 10 votes. They beat USC by 4 touchdowns last year. They scored 62 points on USC last year. They have DTR coming back. They have Charbonnet coming back, right? So I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to why some of these teams are put where they're at. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. I talked about San Diego State. I don't remember what show it was on. I think it was
on this one. You stay, yeah, you're a big Aztec stan.
And Fresno State. It's like, why are we not propping those teams up? Even like Cincinnati being where they're at. It's like, did they not do enough? And I realize they got an opportunity. They're playing against Arkansas. But it's like, I just hate, like, we're just going to, like, we assume that this team, because they added this person or they, added this coach, are going to be right back in that position. Like, Texas A&M had the same record as Mississippi State in conference play last year, and State beat them.
Yeah, no.
And Mississippi State, T-Bob, do you know how many people in Mississippi State's returning? We mentioned it yesterday.
It's like 24 or something, isn't it?
Well, they have 17 starters that are coming back. They have 24 people that I think started a game.
Yeah.
They had the most returning of any team in the country.
Yeah, yes, that is the strongest point that I think you made yesterday with the Aggies, is the fact that Mississippi State not only had the same conference record, but beat them and has 17 guys returning in another year of Mike Leach, which, in theory, you could say that maybe the defenses catch up, but they tend not to. In theory means you start to execute better and better. But there's kind of a general Will Rogers disrespect and Mississippi State disrespect in general. So
it's because he is he's a quarterback in the Mike Leach system.
Yeah.
But when you watch the tape, I know that seems foreign to a lot of people to criticize and not watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
He completed 74% of his passes. He threw for 4,700 yards. He had 36 touchdowns. And so they even did it in a different way than Mike Leach has done it before. Like, if you go watch, they push the ball down the field more than they have with other quarterbacks in Mike Leach's career. So, like, to me, like, I take a look at the top 25, and look, I love it. It gives us something to talk about.
Yeah.
It gives us a starting point. But it does matter. It does. There's only 1990, Georgia Tech was the last team to win a national championship. We mentioned that. That didn't start out in the top 25. it's hard to climb. Like Cincinnati doesn't make the CFP if they didn't start at number 8 last year.
No, that's true.
Them
Very
starting
true.
at 8 gave them that opportunity.
That is very true.
So preseason rankings absolutely do matter to the bottom line. Like to some teams, not as much, but to a team like Cincinnati or a team that's trying to fight up, they absolutely matter.
You know, they say when you assume, you make an ass of you and me, but I'm going to assume that you would love to feel younger, right? Okay. Why don't you go check out a little Rejuve-Me Medical? Restore Me, Refuel Me, Rejuve Me. Get your labs drawn and let them use the information contained within your body to decide what may be for you. Maybe it's HRT, maybe it's not. But the bottom line is they will customize a comprehensive plan to get you feeling like you used to when you were younger, okay? 20, 30, 40, 50, male, female. I don't care, man. Go to Rejuve-Me and let them get you that energy rolling out of bed and rolling in to bed. Ramblin' Wreck!
I got one more.
How about that?
There you go. Hey, nice pull.
Georgia Tech.
One more thought, and this is the one I wanted to get to. So Michigan came in at number 6 in the preseason polls, and a lot of people are like, wait a minute, Michigan, they lose so much, and they do. They only have 4 returning starters on defense, and the defense was a big reason why they were in the CFP. But they do have 9 offensive starters coming back. K. McNamara, and they have McCarthy coming back at quarterback. I assume they're going to open up that offense a little bit more. They counted on running the football last year and defense. But here's why I think they're at number 6. Because when you look at Ohio State, who's in the Big Ten East, they've got Notre Dame in non-conference. When you look at Penn State, they're at Auburn. When you look at Michigan State, they're at Washington. And we could go across like Indiana, right? They've got at Cincinnati. We could go across like all of the teams in the Big Ten, and they're going to have big marquee non-conference matchups. Iowa's got, Iowa State, a game that they always have.
Iowa's probably a bit disrespected in all of this.
In place.
I would say.
No, they are, but Michigan is where they're at because they have the easiest non-conference schedule in the Power 5. Here's their non-conference. Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn. They got the tab of having the easiest non-conference schedule of any team in the Power 5. So for them and their away games, they have at Iowa and they have at Ohio State. Those are their toughest matchups. And so you look at the schedule, they're going to start 3-0 as they go into conference play, and they're going to get some of those young defenders some experience. So that's one of the reasons why Michigan is a top 6 football team.
Also, like a Texas or a USC, I think generally people like kind of the college football hive mind wants these big brands to be good. There's something kind of comforting about it. Like watching Michigan matter late, as the weather turned and everything last year, it felt very Christmassy in a weird way. Like it felt like seasonally appropriate to the holidays, I felt. And so, I wouldn't mind at all if Michigan was good again. All right, when we get back, let's do a little Ask the Bench and close this thing out.
OTB, OT. This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We'll get you an update from Saints camp. It's a Whiskey Wednesday. We'll do overrated, underrated. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back to OTB. I just learned how to fly a helicopter watching a Reddit video. Hell yeah, dude. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Light, Vizzy Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. Who is a sports icon that influenced you the most? I really like Todd McClure growing up. Mike Allstott.
Drew Brees taught me that just because the situation looks bad doesn't mean you can't make it better.
Cool.
Peyton Manning.
Sheriff.
Ask the Bench. Is a rambling wreck the best non-animal mascot in college? I mean, I know it's more comedic. I still do have a... it warms my heart that Stanford has a literal color and then some stupid-looking tree. I'm also a big fan of the Orange Men, just the giant orange mascot, but Rambling Wreck's pretty cool.
I like the horse and wagon that Oklahoma pulls around the field.
It was a lot of fun when it fell.
The Boilermaker.
Oh, yeah. Boilermaker's a good one.
I nominate
train.
I nominate Big Red from Western Kentucky. I don't think he's an animal.
Oh, yeah, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
I love it. He's just some sort of creature.
Green Wave.
Great logo. Great
the
logo.
Mean Green.
Yeah. Okay,
What's even their mascot? I don't even know what their mascot is.
The color green.
North Texas.
Mean Green. It's actually a bird.
What's his name?
But it's Mean Green. Joe.
Why am I blank right now?
Mean Green.
Joe. Mean Joe Green. Duh. There you go. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Would you pay? Who would you pay top dollar to see in a small acoustic set? I mean, honestly, John Mayer, who has now become the Grateful Dead. Like, you know, he's finally the first person to take over and actually hit with the Grateful Dead. And I guess just acoustic made me think of him. But yeah, John Mayer.
That would be my answer as well. I saw him in New Orleans one time, and all of the speakers blew out for a little bit. And so he got up there, and we're in the Smoothie King Center, and he got up there with just an acoustic guitar, nothing plugged in, and still rocked it.
I'm going Alan Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Midnight in Montgomery. Let's go.
Midnight in Montgomery. I would also say John Baptiste. I would love to see him in an intimate environment.
I mean, there's 1,000 people. Yeah.
Ask the bench, what was your favorite day ever? When my dad took me to see Star Wars when they re-released it in theaters, and I went to Toys R Us afterwards and got like a ton of Star Wars toys. It was awesome.
Yeah, you're right. Caitlin doesn't listen to the show, so you're.
You have a couple
safe.
of kids. You got one kid. You know. I only had one kid. I got all the toys.
You have two.
Well, no, but like on a day, I only had one kid on a day. I got all the toys.
Fair enough.
OTB, OT.
Go to AccuTempBR.com. AccuTempBR. Service to the highest degree. If you need any AC, heating, or electrical work, you know you want to go to AccuTemp. They're the absolute best, and that's not just me saying that. We had a lot of internet talk today and kind of the general disposition of the internet, which can skew negative a lot of times. Well, go look at the internet's opinion of AccuTemp because it's unbelievable. And even when I had them out, because my wife does not listen to the show, Jake is right. She knows nothing about the ad reads that we do. When I had them out in my home, she texted me out of nowhere, literally, it's not a lie, blown away by the service that was provided by AccuTemp, being like, wow, I have never experienced that before. So they say service the highest degree. It's not just talk. They walk the walk. AccuTempBR.com.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that comes out to your house from AccuTemp, they're going to send you a picture of who it is. They're going to give you a profile of that person as well. Check them out, AccuTempBR.com.